What's up, fight fans, MMA fans? Welcome to my video. I'm your host, the J-Man. And as you know, this is a big weekend for fights for MMA, UFC fans. We've got UFC 121 coming up this Saturday night, and it's going to be a big main event. Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. And some other fights on that card are very interesting. Particularly, we have Jake Shields making his UFC debut against Martin Kampmann. And we also have Tito Ortiz versus his former training partner, Matt Hamill, his student, Matt Hamill. This is a very interesting fight. And particularly, this is the one that I want to talk about. I want to focus on Tito Ortiz and talk about the future of his career. Now, myself personally, I was a big Tito Ortiz fan back in the day. Basically, Tito was running the show. It was all about him, and he was the champion at 205 and went on a huge winning streak. Of course, this is all history, UFC history. I could spend all day talking about this, but you might as well just do the research if you don't already know. Tito Ortiz, at this point in his career, he should be a UFC Hall of Famer, the likes of Chuck Liddell. But what happened? Tito Ortiz started falling apart, and he fell down pretty quick when his back went out. He started having a lot of back pain, and then after his final loss to Lyoto Machida, he left the UFC, and he had to have back surgery. He got the back surgery, and eventually he made a pact with Dana. Got back together with Dana White, and they were able to work out a contract, and Tito Ortiz was back in the UFC. So they signed him up to fight Mark Coleman, and Tito was ready to go, training hard, and then Mark Coleman got injured. Instead, they replaced Coleman with Forrest Griffin. So we all know what happened in that fight. If you don't remember, look it up. I think it was UFC in 106. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was a pretty long time ago. But Ortiz was basically outboxed. His cardio wasn't as good as it used to be. And he made the excuse or the complaint that it was because he wasn't able to train hard enough during his training camp. He said he injured himself. He cracked his skull. He was having a lot of pain. So therefore, he wasn't really able to push his training to the level that he needed. All right. Now, because this is Tito Ortiz saying it, we have to take it with a grain of salt. And a lot of people are going to criticize it and say this is just typical Tito. He's always making excuses. He's always running his mouth. Blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe, perhaps this time it was legitimate. I think Tito is at a point in his career, in his life, where he's no longer going to make those excuses. All right, he's done with the excuses, and I think it's time for him to just be more mature, and that's what he's going to be. I could be wrong. It could be the same old Tito again. But I like to think that the excuses have stopped. It all remains to be seen, of course. But anyway, getting a little off topic here. I want to get back to my point. My point is that this fight with Matt Hamill is so important for Tito. It's a critical fight for him. He should be desperate for this win. He's got to prove himself, man. He's really got to prove himself. And what I mean by that is he's got to prove himself in a way that he's never done it before. He needs to win against Matt Hamill. Not only a finish, but a devastating finish. He needs like a TKO, not your typical Tito Ortiz ground and pound victory. He needs to knock him out. He needs to KO him, either with a head kick would be awesome. Just a combination of fists, anything like that would be tremendous. This is what he needs to get his legitimacy back. Back in the day, when Tito Ortiz was dominant, it was because he had such a solid wrestling foundation. And a lot of guys in there were just kind of like brawlers, or they had some strength, they had some boxing skills, and pretty much that's it. Some karate, but nothing compared to Tito Ortiz's wrestling. And that's why Tito was so dominant. So he got by for a long time with just that. But then as guys started to evolve, everybody started to learn better boxing skills, better jiu-jitsu, and they had a combination of things to bring. It got a lot more difficult. Competition was raised. So Tito never really evolved as a fighter the way he needed to. His stand-up was always subpar at best. Okay. Now, I know that he's been training with Freddie Roach, and in this fight with Forrest Griffin, he was training with Freddie Roach on his stand-up and his boxing. Now, if you know anything about Freddie Roach, this is the guy that trains Manny Pacquiao. So, you know, that says a lot right there. I don't know if he continued training him for this fight with. I don't know if he continued training with Freddie Roach, but if you go and you watch all of his videos, or any of his most recent videos on his YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that Tito is primarily doing boxing. Okay, he's focusing on his stand-up, which is what he needs to do. So I hope that he's improving. It all remains to be seen. But Tito needs to develop his knockout power. I don't know if he can, or if that's even possible, but that's what he truly needs to focus on. He's got to become a knockout hitter. You know, it'd be nice to see him incorporate more leg kicks, but I mean, against Hamill, it's going to be tough because I think Hamill has an advantage in the stand-up. But Tito's got to prove himself, man. I really hope he's able to do it. He needs to get wins over mid-level fighters. He's not ready for top competition yet. Guys like Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua, even Quentin Jackson, their striking is too good for him right now. He needs to fight other guys where he can develop his striking and then prove that he can stand toe-to-toe with those guys. If he wants to get his title back like he says he does, this is what it's all about. Okay, so there you have it. There's my final opinion, my wrap-up on Tito. I used to be a big fan of his, and I hate to see him fall this far, but he's got to come back, get back on top. And I'm just encouraging everyone out there who used to be a Tito fan, or at any point was a Tito fan, to support him for this fight, cheer him, because he needs it. He needs it real bad. And yeah, I'm just hoping he's able to pull off this. I don't know if it'll be an upset, but definitely needs to get the win. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to say thanks for watching this video. Make sure you comment, and I'll see you next time.